Hello, my beautiful yellowbone, redbone, butter pecan, caramel, butterscotch, toffee, mocha, chocolate, cocoa exoticals. Welcome to the Pretty Girl Club. Welcome to the Exoticals United community. If you are new here, welcome. Here in the Exoticals United community, we support men and women from the following people groups: multiracials, biracials, multi-generationally mixed, and light-skinned golden people. Hey Exoticals! Today I want to talk about a common humbling tactic used in Blackistan, and that is when people try to compare one MLS person to another. So I've noticed that whenever you start embracing who you are, whenever you start embracing your phenotype, or you start to love yourself, a lot of people, they don't want you to feel too confident about yourself. And so in order to humble you, for example, let's say you're a darker skinned mixed woman, they'll be like, oh, but you're still not as light skinned as so and so other person. That girl is going to get more privileges than you because she is lighter than you. And then let's say if you are light skinned, but you are not white passing. I've noticed that some people will often compare you to someone more white passing, and they'll be like, oh, well, this girl outranks you because she is whiter than you, so therefore she's more desirable and more privileged than you. I've seen this happen so many times in Black women empowerment spaces where, in order to humble a mixed race person or a racially ambiguous looking Black person, they will try to compare you to someone who's more ambiguous, or they'll compare you to someone lighter, or someone with silkier hair, someone who is more white passing, or maybe someone slimmer or more popular, and they'll be like, well, you're not as pretty as this person. Well, you're not as pretty as Halle Berry. You're not as pretty as Aaliyah. You're not as pretty as Beyonce. And all of those things that they're saying, those are just humbling tactics because that person is just jealous of you and they are jealous of the confidence that you have. And so in order to try to tear you down, they want you to feel inferior to someone who is, more desirable or whatever. They want you to have that same victim mentality and that same inferiority complex that they have towards you. So when they compare you to someone whiter, it's because they want you to feel inferior to that person who is more white than you. If they compare one mixed woman to someone who looks like Jenna Frooms, yeah, they want that one mixed girl to feel more inferior to Jenna Frooms because Jenna looks more white. Or if you are a darker skinned mixed woman like Chili, or you are quote unquote unambiguous passing or Black passing, they want you to feel inferior to someone who looks biracial or someone who looks, more like a stereotypical mixed race light skinned person. They want you to feel inferior. So that's why they're saying that comment. And that is just another humbling tactic. I just wanted to talk about that because I feel like that is just a tactic that is used to divide our community. And I think that if all of us exoticals and if all of us pretty privileged slash mixed race women, if we all came together and number one, acknowledged our differences, number two, acknowledged our privileges, and then number three, profited off of those things and created our own community, if we all begin to speak up for ourselves and form a sense of solidarity, then nobody else can speak for us. And people won't feel so bold anymore to say comments like that. Like, oh, well, you're not as pretty as this other person. You're not as pretty as so-and-so actress. And it's like, nobody said that you have to be as pretty as an actress or that you have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on your looks in order to feel confident about yourself. Anyone who says that is just projecting. It's like, no, just because you need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to feel confident about yourself doesn't mean I need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on my looks to feel confident about myself. Celebrities have professional makeup artists, professional people doing their hairstyling, all of their clothing and stuff like that. I don't need that much stuff in order to celebrate my heritage or celebrate how I look. But I've noticed that some people who have an inferiority complex, they do feel like they need to have a celebrity level of beauty or a celebrity level of like money in order to feel good. And so when they see you, a regular, everyday, non-famous person, actually having confidence, oh, that shit is triggering. That's going to make them pissed off. So yes, they're going to try to humble you. How dare you actually have self-confidence and not be white passing? How dare you have self-confidence and be dark skinned? How dare you have self-confidence and have a 4C hair texture? How dare you? Their knee-jerk reaction is to project their own insecurities onto you. And so when they make comments like, oh, well, you're not that light skinned, what they're really saying is, if I were you, I would not be confident unless I was white passing. That's really what they're saying. They're just projecting their own insecurities onto you. Or if they say, oh, well, you still look black. Okay, what they're really saying is, I have to look non-black in order to feel confident and in order to like be conceited or be cocky about who I am or whatever and be proud of who I am. So people who make comments like that, they are literally exposing themselves, they're exposing their own hypocrisy, and they themselves are actually using colorism, texturism, featureism, and anti-blackness in order to humble you. They want you to feel just as inferior about your own blackness or about your own skin tone or your own hair texture as they do. Because in their culture, like in the unambiguous monoracial African American culture, the main insecurities are based on things like hair texture, skin color, and things like that. And so when they see someone who has one drop of blackness in them, because a lot of them also believe in racist ideologies such as the one drop rule and the paper bag test. So if they see someone who is darker than a paper bag or someone who is not white passing and they actually have confidence in their caramel skin tone and their curly hair, and they actually have confidence in their light brown skin tone, or they have confidence being a darker skinned, straighter haired person, then no, they're going to project their inferiority complexes onto you. And this is why I say that we should create our own secret communities. We should create our own faceless YouTube channels. We should speak for ourselves and only surround ourselves with people who have the same mindset as us. So like for me, I never talk about my racial mix or whatever, or my background or my beliefs when it comes to the Exoticals United stuff. I don't talk about this stuff in real life. For the most part, I just kind of live my life as a regular everyday person, and then I come and talk about this here on YouTube with other girls who share my sentiment. When it comes to things like pretty privilege, I don't talk about that shit in real life because that's going to alienate me from the people around me who may not be able to relate. And so I think that's the beautiful thing about the internet. You can come and you can create a faceless troll account. You can talk to other people who can relate to you, and you don't have to worry about people coming for you. And if they do, you can just block them. But I would say we should take tips from other exoticals who came before us. And like I said, just don't talk about your racial mixture. Don't talk about your background. Just simply be pretty, simply exist. Get your exotical tax and get your bags from whichever community gives you the most, whether it's the white community, the black community, a multiracial type of community, your mainstream, or whether you get your money from not even having to show yourself and just being faceless and just saying, fuck it, I'll just make a YouTube channel and talk about pretty privilege and get exotical tax that way. Just get your bags and don't worry about any haters or people who disagree with you, because if we spend the rest of our lives muling and seeking validation from people who will never love us and they'll never see themselves in us, or they'll never cape for us in the same way that we cape for them, we're always going to be disappointed. So I would just say definitely put yourself first, definitely put your own phenotype first, and only support people who look like you. And then when it comes to the whole conversation about like racism, colorism, texturism, and featureism, if you're in a community where you already don't feel seen, or where you already feel like your talking points are not the mainstream talking points, then don't even mention it there. I would say this is why we should be creating our own communities as opposed to relying on others to include us in theirs. This is why I will always support people who look like me, regardless of whether or not I agree with everything they do. I will always support the Shira Sevens, the Kenya Barrises, the Cardi B's, I don't care if I wouldn't do all of the same things as them. I don't care if they represent a different lifestyle than me. I don't care if they watch TV or if they make TV shows that I have never seen before. That doesn't matter. What matters is that I have people who look like me, who also support others who look like me, and who are promoting my phenotype. So even though I may not necessarily listen to all of Cardi B's music, for example, I like the attention that she gets because that is actually helping increase my level of status. Well, I technically don't subscribe to the same culture. You know what? Let me use a different example. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, whether or not I agree with everything she says and does politically, she is still elevating my status in one way or another because she is being seen. So what I care about is I care about people who look like me being seen, being heard, being validated, and getting positions of power in society. That's it. I don't care about agreeing with everything they say, doing all the same things they do, starting a cult and a religious circle based around how I look. No, I don't care about any of that. I just care about uplifting and empowering others who are a part of my community. What do you guys think? Have you ever been gaslit by someone who tried to make you feel inferior for not being white enough, or for your hair not being silky enough, or your nose being too big? It's so funny because on my last YouTube video, I made a video about like featureism and how the facial features you have affect the way that people perceive your skin tone. And somebody commented, I'm assuming she was from the Black empowerment space, and she was like, all these issues we have going on in the Black community, and you're worried about noses. And it's like, okay, first of all, if you don't like my channel, why are you on it? But secondly, it's funny how they can talk about things like Tinder being racist or the YouTube algorithm being racist. Do you know how many other problems we have in this world besides YouTube algorithms or Tinder algorithms? Yet you're over here editing photos and shit. You're like trying to make your skin white on a photo so that you can prove to others that like, oh no, people who are whiter than me get more dates on Tinder. Yeah, you want to come for me because I'm talking about featureism, which has existed for hundreds of years. Anyway, I'm done. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.